So welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto Liberty City stories. In this part, we will be completing the taxi driver side mission, which is a requirement to complete in order to get your percentage points for 100%. So the way that the taxi driver side mission works is that you first need to get your hands on a taxi. And at this point in the game, there are going to be two taxis variants that you can choose from. The first one being the one that we're currently using, and the second one being the taxi cab. And the difference between this model of the taxi and the taxi cab is that the taxi cab is a bit more thick, as the kids say these days. It's a bit wider around the edges. There's a bit of junk in the trunk there, which there's no problem with that. But by using it, you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage when you're doing an activity like this because of the wider frame of the taxi cab. Which makes it a bit more difficult to navigate through traffic at high speeds, slicing and dicing and weaving and splitting hairs and mad bush and all that good stuff there. So, I'd recommend using the model that we're using right here because it is smaller and faster than the taxi cab. But either way, whenever you get your hands on the taxi, you then need to activate doing the activity by clicking down on the right stick. And then from there, a fare will pop in onto the map, and you can pick up the fare and take him to wherever he or she wants to go. But you might find yourself in a situation where a fare spawns in, not so easy to reach area, such as after when we completed that first fare, we had a fella or fellette spawning inside of an inaccessible building. So when that happens, or when maybe the fare is behind you and you don't want to make an illegal U-turn or something like that, you wouldn't want the avenging angels on you there. So what you can do is just continue driving away from the fare to make it to where a new fare spawns in, and potentially at a position that favors you. In front of you, for example, would be a pretty good place for a fare to spawn. So, that's an idea to kind of keep in mind to make this as smooth as a process as possible. And what's very nice about this process is that what you need to do to complete this activity is to complete a total of 100 fares, but you don't have to do those 100 fares in a row. You can split them up however you want to, or maybe even however you need to, because you might find yourself in a spot where the taxi is flipped over, so you need to exit the taxi. And what's nice about not having to do these fares in a row is that your progress is saved, as long as you then save your game at some point, as soon as you drop off a fare at wherever he or she wants to go. So something to kind of watch out for, though, is that when you constantly damage your taxi, you then will eventually reach a point to where you'll have to either get a new taxi or respray your current taxi. And I suppose the reason why you would think about respraying your taxi is so you can maintain your streak of fares completed, because for every streak of 5 fares that you complete, you get some bonus cash, which really isn't a big deal to me. I always say that, the protagonist here wipes their ass with whatever bonus money you might be getting, so it's not that important to go after the bonus money. So, that's something to think about there, because after completing 10 fares in a row on whatever attempt of doing the taxi driver side mission you're on, you'll then have a very high chance of a fare spawning in that wants you to take them to another island. And I'm not all about that business. I like doing the taxi driver side mission here on Staten Island because the roads on Staten Island are a lot wider than on Portland and Shoreside Vale. And also, most of the island is flat compared to Portland and Shoreside Vale. Shoreside Vale especially is just... it's just a cesspool of just strands of roads thrown together. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it really is like a bowl of spaghetti at times. It just twists and turns all around the place, and I just find that to be a bit annoying compared to Staten Island. So that's the reasoning there for just instantly canceling the taxi driver mission whenever a fare like that pops up, and then just starting anew from zero. So. Like I said, hopefully the wording there doesn't throw anybody off, because just to reiterate, after you complete a fare, that fare gets added to your total amount of fares. So again, you don't have to do these 100 in a row, so no worries there, hopefully. But anyways, though, we've now moved on to completing our 100th fare. So besides monetary gain and percentage points, Your reward is the Bickle 76, which now spawns at Mean Streets Taxi. And the Bickle 76 itself is a reference to a Robert De Niro played character in the film Taxi Driver, which is a 1976 Martin Scorsese film. And the character's name is Travis Bickle, so you put the character's name and the date of the film together, and then you get yourself a reference there. So, good stuff. And I suppose Mean Street Taxis itself is a reference to another Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese film called Mean Streets. So, yeah, good stuff there. And with all that being said, we've now completed the taxi driver side mission, and we've gotten ourselves the Bickle 76, which is quite a nice taxi. You know, it's very high-powered, very fast, a bit hard to control, but I think it's quite a nice reward there. So, with all that being said, we've now completed this part, and now we can move on to the next part, which will feature the Trash Dash side activity. So, until then, I will see you next time.